Normally, I prefer to start off a series like this with something a bit more tame, but when KOL The Wandering Earth 2 came in from KeyTok, I had to take a more focused look at them because they have quickly become one of my favorite new keycap profiles, so this seemed as good a place as ever to welcome you all to Keycap Profile Profiles, a new recurring series going into greater detail on different keycap profiles, further scrutinizing and demystifying the little things that make these keycaps greater than the sum of their parts. As always, a huge thank you first to KeyTok for sending over KOL The Wandering Earth 2 for us to take a look at. Remember, no money changed hands in this process and all opinions remain my own. No one has been privy to this content prior to upload. Be sure to check out the links down in the description for chapters, links to everything seen in today's videos, as well as links to our socials, Twitch, and the Discord. Let's start off with the price. $70 plus shipping. Hold on to that as we go over the rest of the set and the profile. Inside the cardboard are 3 thin plastic trays containing the caps. They get the job done fine for shipping and storing unused caps, but they aren't the best quality ever. With the box carrying similar dimensions as a PBT fan's keycap storage tray, only being a few inches wider, it's also decently space efficient. Kitting includes a typical 6.25U ANSI bottom row layout plus F13, numpad and associated layout options, 7U bottom row support, extension nav keys, 2.25U and 2.75U split bars, plus a second B key for Alice Arisu support, split backspace, split right shift, ISO enter, and some novelties for a total of 154 keycaps. Of course, with the ISO enter, you do also get split left shift support in there as well. This is actually really strong kitting for a cap set that's in and around this price point. However, know that this is not the standard across the KOL line just yet, with the apparent trade-off being fewer keycaps, fewer dollars. Legends are dye sub and reverse dye sub, carrying a gray colorway with alphas that lean a sort of dark, cool gray, and mods that are a pale concrete-like gray. There's so many little details on the caps bearing impressive sharpness, it's impossible to ever be bored looking at these, even with the somewhat subdued colorway they chose, as the font and sublegends provide a nice bit of contrast and basically no smearing or blurring. Construction is a cautionary tale on these caps' design. First, let's take a look at the profile on our K-frame. Feel free to pause the screen here to take a closer look at the height measurements, as there's a lot of points to display. It's a stepped row sculpture with a cylindrical top face of the keycap, similar to what you'd find on OEM, and with a similar height. There are 2 separate layers of the cap, a bottom semi-transparent polycarb layer and a PBT layer over top of that. The underlying polycarb level appears to be molded similarly to Cherry Profile, which means despite the profile height being more akin to OEM or Cubic, the keycaps fit like Cherry, requiring either a long pole switch or a contemporary Gateron top housing to be used on switches slotted into a north-facing socket to avoid top housing collision. The front corners of the top of the cap are rounded off, leading to an off-center cap depression that feels more comfy than you'd typically find on something like OEM, Cherry, or especially a Cubic profile, as well as a unique aesthetic that seems well suited to the theme of these caps. The novelties are where we see the biggest opportunities for improvement. On the enter keys in particular, you can see the image of the top isn't quite centered, leading to the appearance of specifically different bezel thickness surrounding the image. The same thing goes for 3 of the 4 1.25U novelties, as well as a few of the row 1 1U novelties. There's also some smearing on the back of one of the novelties. Thankfully, it's on the back, so you won't see it all the time, but I know it's there, and now you do too. Visually, there is nothing else quite like these in my collection, especially when natural light hits them just right. Regardless of whether you're putting them on a split board or a more traditional layout, this sets a banger from almost all angles, off-center or slightly smeared novelties and personal taste notwithstanding. It carries a cohesive theme throughout, and personally speaking, tends to really shine on boards that carry a neutral to cool color temperature to complement the cool dark gray and the punchy contrast of the red and blue accents. It's also important to note, none of the space bars in my sample kit seem to present any stabilizer tuning issues for me, so you should be good to go on that front. However, if you do encounter any tuning issues after exhausting all other options on your end, definitely make sure you reach out to KeyTok and see what they can do for you about the caps. Now, onto the typing test. As for what you think of how the boards sound with these caps, I'll leave that to you to decide on, but I personally really like them, and they will be staying in the collection for the foreseeable future. In terms of overall value, KOL The Wandering Earth 2 is hitting this seemingly rare balance of overall quality, compatibility, and pricing, all while still providing a cool theme with an approachable colorway and unique acoustics you won't likely find, for better or worse, on any other keycap set. It's adjacent to OEM, so if you prefer a taller profile that also unlocks additional compatibility while also retaining good build quality and a mostly familiar shape, these might be worth considering. Some things still holding back the profile are a lack of sets available to it, as well as kitting standards not being the same across all sets just yet. Though the sets they do have so far look pretty good if their kitting and subsequent pricing makes sense to you. I'd also like to see alignment and quality on the prints for the novelties improved a touch. With only a smattering of opportunities to address here, I'd say this is a profile to pay close attention to, and can definitely recommend checking it out for yourself if you're interested in a tall cylindrical profile that's doing things a bit different from the more typical and often limited kitting and colorways found in OEM sets. Thanks for tuning into the first installment of Keycap Profile Profiles. Be sure to leave a comment below if there's any constructive feedback on the series, as we'll be making more of these featuring more keycap-centric information. Be sure to toss us a like on the way out, get subscribed and notified, and check out all the links in the description for everything seen in today's video, as well as links to our socials, Twitch, and the Discord. While you're at it, check out some of our other content featuring some of the more exotic keycaps and projects we've worked on in the past. Take care of yourselves and one another, and we'll see you in the next video.